right. Hello. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing this midday? This midday live? Hey, you got me. You got me on the live. Welcome. Feel free to jump in and ask me any questions you guys have. We're here to help you guys with this whole weight loss GLP-1 game. That's what we're here to do. Ooh, this one we can't. Let's see. Hello. What are peptides? I don't know much about them. Let's do this. Let's get you guys rocking and rolling. There we go. Let's log into this page. So peptides are really cool. They're like little signaling molecules that exist in the body. You can think of peptides kind of like hormones. Hormones are released in the body and they cause a certain process of health to turn on, to activate. And so you can optimize these pathways in your health by taking peptides. That's what makes them so cool. They're very, very powerful. We're not eligible. Okay, well we can't go live on Instagram. Hello. You know, HC Moran, I haven't been doing my lives in the morning, actually. I've been doing them in the evening now. I was doing them really early, but lately I've been doing them later. And then every now and then in the middle of the day, if I had my meetings canceled, so I had some time, man. So super cool. Hello from Green Bay. Probably stoked about those Packers, huh? They are crushing it. No, peptides can be more than injected, although injectable tends to be the best. Some peptides are also very available. Nasal injection creams, oral troches. Right now, I actually have a troche right here. You guys can't see the troche, but there's a little troche. Now, this is not peptides that I'm taking right now. What this is actually nicotine. This is 1 milligram of nicotine. It gives me a nice jolt of energy. It's a nootropic, puts my brain into a really good zone state so I can hang out with you guys and answer whatever questions you have. So welcome. If this is your guys' first time here in the lives, my name is Dr. Jones. I have clinics that service across the nation, all 50 states. Basically, in a nutshell, hey, John, good to see you, my friend. Basically, in a nutshell, what we do is we help people achieve lasting weight loss, specifically navigating around GLP-1 meds. So you guys probably have heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, GLP-1 medications. And in my opinion, these are the most powerful tools that we've ever had to help you with weight, but they do so much more than just weight management, diabetes management. They go beyond. We've never had a medication or treatment that actually gets to the root cause of metabolic health like these medications do. So But the problem, like many of you guys probably noticed, let me know in the comments, are you currently taking GLP-1s? Let me know. What you probably have noticed is all the downside, right? Like you're tired, you're brain foggy, you're constipated, you're not feeling good, your body's achy, you're not losing weight anymore, you're barely eating, you're stuck on these large doses, you're probably not aware of like a structured plan for moving forward. Like, what do you do next? Where do you go from here? I think this is the biggest problem that I see. And so we have a solution, we have a framework to help you achieve this. So we can talk about all of that, and plus I'll answer any questions you have. So again, we service all 50 states. This is let's see. This is the best number to reach out to my team, the 229 number. So all you got to do is actually shoot us a text message. You can, on the YouTube, you guys can see it right there, 229-441-3562. That number again is 22. I should probably put our YouTube number on that one, actually. We do have a YouTube number, I forgot. Let me actually do that. But in any case, you guys can text us, get a free consultation, let them know that you saw me on my live, and then decide if it makes sense. We can help you with the coaching, the medications, the peptides, all of the above. Can you do fast? Can you do a fat fast on one of your long fasts? Yes, you can. The goal is to eventually burn the fat on your body, right? The goal is to eventually burn the fat that's on your body, not the fat that you're eating. But you can use fat, you can consume fat as a stepping stone to make fasting easier. And truthfully, guys, fasting is the best way to beat your insulin resistance. It's the best way to set you up for long-term success. So I love that idea. Trouble, can I move to 5 milligrams only after 3 days since my final 2.5? I can't give you medical advice, but I wouldn't do that. I would talk to your prescribers. You guys want to, there's a strategy here called the low dose strategy. You want to stay on the lowest doses of your medications for the longest period of time. You don't want to just willy-nilly increase your dose. You got to give your body time to respond. You got to give your body time to establish whether or not there's enough dose. Is it suppressing your appetite enough? Is it taking the edge off of the food chatter? Are you implementing strategic lifestyle interventions? You gotta give your body time. Megan, I'm on 0.5 of Wegovy and I'm so scared it won't work. I feel guilty every time I eat. Why do you feel guilty every time you eat, Megan? Eating is a completely normal requirement for life. So you should not feel guilty. Bald men are always ripped. I suppose that's a thing, I guess. You lose your hair, you get jacked. I guess that is a thing, huh? Shaving my head was never my plan until a couple years ago, though, so. Any oral weight loss supplement suggestions? Yes. Now, I think that we should learn how to not be afraid of the injections, because the GLP-1 injection, the tirzepatide, is the most potent weight loss aid, period, for almost anybody. It makes it easier for you to have a cleaner diet. It makes it easier for you to get into a calorie deficit. But there are other powerful oral agents like Sloop 332. We are big fans of Sloop 332. So you got Sloop 332, you got AOD Troche. We have a new oral peptide called MOTC that's like MOTC. And that peptide is really potent at improving the function of your mitochondria. So There's a lot of aids. There's a lot of peptides out there. Why don't traditional doctors mention peptides? Because peptides are not part of the medical paradigm. You know, insurance companies don't cover peptides. The medical system is all about prescriptions, prescription medications, and insurance companies don't cover peptides. Peptides are a completely different approach towards your health. You don't have a laundry list of side effects. You don't have concerning and scary complications with peptides because they're naturally occurring molecules in your body. Do I think medicine still serves a place? But your approach should be to use medications respectfully and use them as an aid and not what's the best way to put it? To not rely solely on medications, but to rely on a comprehensive approach, a combination of medications when needed, peptides, hormone therapy, and of course, lifestyle changes. Megan, counting calories is so hard and confusing. I feel like I undereat. Megan, I agree. I think counting calories is a pain in the ass. So when I coach patients, we teach them to do calorie counting stages. A couple weeks of each year is it. That's the only time I make you count calories. During a reset, that's the only time I make you count calories. Because it's just easier to sustain. If we work on fixing your body, making you less insulin resistant, decreasing inflammation, then your food chatter is more regulated, your metabolism speeds up, and you don't have to rely on counting calories. Just control your insulin levels. Calories matter, but calories become easier to control when you fix your body. So ultimately focusing on the insulin piece of it. That's the piece to focus on. Nat B, how long after reaching goal weight is it recommended to continue using tirzepatide or Retta on a microdose? Well, that's, Nat, that's everything I talk about. All day, every day, that's what I focus on. By the way, guys, if you're not already following me on YouTube, go to YouTube right now, type in Dr. Jones DC, find my YouTube page, because I put out 3 videos a week, every single week, talking about GLP-1s, talking about peptides, talking about this week, we're going to early next week, we're going to put a video out about fasting and GLP-1s. So super excited to teach you guys these things, these concepts that are so fundamentally important for weight loss and overall health. Thank you, John. I really, really appreciate your support. I know you're always on my lives, and so that means a lot to me. Thank you, John. So make sure you're following me on YouTube. If you guys are watching me on TikTok, by the way, and you've noticed that you haven't seen my TikTok videos, these are the 2 new TikTok pages. So make sure you give those pages a follow on TikTok. For me, TikTok is about bite-sized videos, 60 seconds, 90 seconds, where we teach you small pieces of the bigger puzzle. But if you like my long-form content, then YouTube is the way to go. YouTube, you guys will learn a tremendous amount about peptides and GLP-1s. Yes, our team prescribes tirzepatide, retatrutide, all of the powerful fat-mobilizing peptides. Yeah, Nat B, thank you. Maria, is 10 units of Glow work if you use it only 3 times a week? I don't know what concentration you're talking about. So when you say 10 units of Glow, that doesn't mean anything to me, because 10 units of what concentration? Chances are you got that from a research company, and most research companies don't use a good ratio. So, but I don't know. I don't know what company, I don't know what peptide, I don't know what combination you're talking about. Yes, Tina, Forever Wellness is my one of my new TikTok likes to keep me on my feet. TikTok says you got to keep creating new accounts, apparently. John says, I have a doubt. Like most of the people that serve the nation doesn't take much protein, but they do a lot of I don't think I'm understanding your question, John. I literally have no clue what you're saying, John. If you can help me understand what you're saying. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. John on TikTok says he's learned so much. Letty, is there a difference between NAD and Sermorelin? Yes, there's a big difference. NAD is not a peptide. NAD is a component of your energy production system in the mitochondria, and Sermorelin is a growth hormone releasing peptide. If you guys want to find my YouTube, Claire, go to YouTube and type in Dr. Jones DC, and you will find my YouTube page. Nat B, I've really impressed with my results, my retatrutide results, combined with training speaks volume. I want to keep at it. Look, for a lot of people, retatrutide is game changing. That's awesome. That's awesome that retatrutide is working for you. But for a lot of people, retatrutide does not give them the appetite suppression that they were hoping for. So because of that, it ends up being an issue. Teen, can you lose a significant amount of weight on 2.5 milligrams of tirzepatide? You can. We have patients that usually stay at 2.5 or 5 milligrams, and they're getting tremendous results long term because they're implementing strategic lifestyle changes. Fasting, eating less carbohydrates, more fat, like a ketogenic approach, and then resistance training. Those are the key pieces. Jose, doing enclophamine and tirzepatide will increase my appetite. No, tirzepatide will not increase your appetite. Tirzepatide will decrease your appetite. Oh, got you, Army guys. Well, you know, that's a unique category. The people in the Army are working out a lot. Marielle, can you explain the percentage of fat loss per week? Yes. So in my program, my recommendation in general is that you lose about 0.5% to 1% of your body weight every single week. 0.5% to 1% of total weight loss every single week. That's my target. That's my goal for you. If you lose more than 1%, you tend to lose muscle mass. So I don't like that. So if you weigh 200 pounds, 1% of body weight loss per week is about 2 pounds a week. That's a solid, steady rate, especially if you're lifting weights. Because if you're lifting weights and you're consuming enough protein, then you're going to maintain the muscle mass on your body. Tiwi, 2.5 milligrams for 30 weeks, and now I've reached my goal. What's the most common plan for maintenance? So Tiwi, congratulations on hitting your goal weight. By the way, let me know in the comments, are you currently still trying to lose weight? How much more weight do you need to lose to hit your goal weight? Let me know in the comments, or are you stalled? Are you currently in a weight loss stall, or are you getting very slow response? Let me know, because we'll definitely talk about that next. So the most common plan for maintenance, if you're in our program, is during the weight loss phase, you fix your metabolic health. And then after the program, after you lose the weight, after you improve insulin resistance and inflammation, that's when you begin to titrate down towards some sort of micro-dosing maintenance protocol. Like, for example, what I currently do to maintain my health is I do one injection of 5 milligrams of tirzepatide once a month And then I do a therapeutic fast in the same month. And that's how I maintain my weight. Once a month, weekly long fast. It's my low calorie week for the month. And that's how I stay in shape. That's how I stay insulin sensitive. Does increasing growth hormone and IGF keep muscle when losing weight? It definitely helps. Increasing growth hormone and IGF levels during weight loss will help you maintain muscle mass. Heck, if you keep your calories dialed in and your protein high and your training good, you could actually build muscle mass, especially if you haven't been lifting weights and you just start lifting weights. You can actually build muscle mass during at least the first couple months of your weight loss journey, which is fantastic. I'm 238, Ryan. I need to get to 205 before spring for deployment. Let me know how we can help you, my friend. Vivian, 2.5 milligrams every 16 days for maintenance. Reached my goal weight. That's fantastic, Vivian. That is an awesome microdosing schedule. If you are maintaining your weight loss, if you are maintaining your health on a protocol like that, love it, love it. Am I still doing carnivore? No, I'm not doing strict carnivore, although I still do animal-based. So I still eat a lot of fatty red meat 5 days a week. Last night, I had 2 pounds of ribeye and I had fruit. That was all I ate yesterday. 2 pounds of ribeye, watermelon, and pineapple. And I had some kiwis. Red cakes, does it really matter if you change your injection site on a GLP-1 medication? It does, because if you continue to inject in the same location, you can develop some scar tissue. It is a medical condition known as lipohypertrophy, which is essentially scar tissue. So you want to make sure that you are rotating injection sites just to prevent any sort of scar tissue development. And sometimes switching your injection site up does improve your results. Mott C, any thoughts? Angel's mom. Yeah, I love Mott C, by the way. Mott C, besides microdosing GLP-1s, can be a game changer for optimizing your metabolic health. So is Sloop 332. Sloop 332 is also really potent as well. Can oral peptides work? Yes, they can. User IV8KU oral peptides can absolutely help. It just depends on which one you're talking about. In general, I prefer injecting peptides because a lot of peptides are not orally as bioavailable, but there are some that are available orally. It just depends on how they're made and which ones. Like BPC 157 is totally oral bioavailable. Christy on Facebook, have I ever seen patients develop diverticulitis after being on Zepbound? Not in our clinic, no. Certainly, I could see that happening. I wouldn't think that the Zepbound would be a causal point for that, but I haven't seen it in our clinic. Do you need to do SS31 before you do MOT-C? It's a good idea if you have a lot of background inflammation, metabolic dysfunction, prior issues. SS31 is a good reparative peptide for the mitochondria. And then MOT-C will optimize for more fat loss and muscle building. Do I think retatrutide is better than tirzepatide? No, I don't. I think tirzepatide is better than retatrutide. I think the upside is minimal. I think you're risking that you might not get good appetite suppression on the retatrutide. And so I would recommend sticking with the tirzepatide. Sure, you could take the GHK copper, not daily. You just won't get as good a result. Red cakes, I have not seen that. I have not seen that at all. Welcome everybody. If this is your first time here in the live, let me introduce myself. I'm going to take a seat here. My name is Dr. Jones. I have clinics that service across the nation, all 50 states. I work side by side my medical practitioners. They prescribe, I coach. We help people achieve lasting weight loss, microdosing the GLP-1s, microdosing and using the lowest dose possible and achieving long-term weight maintenance. If you're currently on GLP-1s right now, if you're currently struggling, let me know in the comments. I'm here to help you. We do service all 50 states, and we offer coaching to basically anybody in the globe. I know a lot of you guys are on these meds and you have no guidance, no coaching, no support, no structure whatsoever. Hello, Charmizi. Hello. Red cakes, where do I inject on my thigh? You can pretty much inject these peptides into any fat tissue. There are ideal spots, but any fat tissue is fine. So real quick, guys, if you're interested, if you guys want to learn more about what it's like to work with me, my coaches, my medical team, if you want us to guide you through this, if you're stuck in a plateau, if you're not getting results, if you feel like crap, shoot us a text message right here, the 229 number, 229-441-3562. That is the best number to reach out to my team. So all you got to do is shoot us a text message. Shoot us a text message. Let us know your name and your number, that you want to get set up for a free consultation, and let's rock and roll. DMC, New Jersey here, high cholesterol, need to lose weight, any recommendations? Yeah, I got a lot of recommendations. Tirzepatide, Sloop 332, fasting, weight training. Let's go. I mean, that right there is a solid program. Now, I don't know if you're under eating. I don't know if you have inflammation. I don't know if you have any health issues. But we always start our patients off with comprehensive lab testing to check for inflammation, to check for insulin resistance. Like we're checking for all these important things. Inner thigh is usually not the first place that we're thinking to inject, John. Usually abdomen, different quadrants of the abdomen around the belly button. You can rotate, put your thumb on the umbilicus, the belly button, rotate, and wherever your fingers are at, those are different potential injection locations. User I've 8. I'm not sure what peptides you're talking about. Like I said, some of them are available. Some of them are orally bioavailable. Bioavailable. Some of them are, some of them are not. How often do you do Sloop 332? Usually you start off with 200 micrograms a day, and then you work up to 2 servings a day. But you got to exercise. You got to move. Got to move the body. Nat B, I'm up to 8 milligrams on Retta. I split it up, 2 milligrams on Monday, 2 milligrams on Wednesday, 4 milligrams on Friday. That's fantastic. Although 8 milligrams of Retta is a lot of retatrutide. But if it's working for you, you're losing weight, I hope you're implementing some strategic lifestyle changes, some lifestyle interventions. I'm not too worried about enclophamine decreasing appetite suppression from tirzepatide. I haven't seen it. Is there a best weight loss peptide? Yeah, tirzepatide. Tirzepatide, hands down, is the best weight loss peptide for the largest population. For the most amount of people, if I wanted to help them lose weight and I only had one peptide to give them, it would be tirzepatide. If I only had one lifestyle change that I can give to somebody, it would be fasting. And then number 2 would be resistance training. Hello, Jennifer. Working hard on Facebook. It's good to see you. Thank you for saying hi. You know, I'm posting a video next week, John, on YouTube. It's actually the first time I talked about fasting, like a pure fasting GLP-1 video. How to fast safely on GLP-1 medications. How to fast. Should you fast at all? So I'm doing a very research-based... I'm glad you're not mad at me, Jennifer. That's good. A little tough love the other night, you know. A little shoulder bump, you know, like, hey. Just I want to see you succeed. By the way, guys, if you're not already following me on YouTube, go to YouTube right now, type in Dr. Jones DC. We put out 3 videos a week. They're very comprehensive and about GLP-1s and peptides. And if you're watching me on TikTok, these are the 2 new TikTok pages. So if you have noticed that you haven't seen my TikTok videos lately, it's because TikTok is very much. Let's just say they asked me to create new pages. We'll just put it like that. They said, "Hey, you need to create new pages." I said to TikTok, "I don't got much of a choice on this, do I?" TikTok said no. So I said, "Okay. This is TikTok's world. I'm just living in it." Maylee Goodman, what's a starter dose for Tessa IPA blend? 5 milligrams of each. Yeah, so you're getting these from a research company. How do I know this? Because the dosing doesn't make sense. Normally, that's Tessa IPA. Oh my gosh. That also doesn't make sense. First of all, tesamorelin, you don't even need IPA with it. You can enhance it with IPA, but you don't need it. That's a super powerful growth hormone boosting compound on its own. Tesamorelin on its own is already potent. How come you never get me on YouTube, Jennifer? What do you mean? You never see me on YouTube? Yeah, T Brown, be careful with that. That's one of the reasons why I don't like retatrutide. It's a stimulant for some people. Where did all my hair go? I lost all my hair when I started GLP-1 medications. So I talk a lot about how to protect hair loss because unfortunately, when you do it wrong, you can lose all your hair. You see how much hair I used to have? Now it's all gone. So listen to what I'm saying so you don't lose all your hair too. Alma, you're on the highest dose. That's not good. That's not good. What's going to happen when you plateau to your large dose? I'm totally kidding about the hair loss, by the way. It's not GLP-1 related. Yeah, the fasting video, we're going to post that next week. Does alcohol interfere with your weight loss on a GLP-1 medication? Absolutely it does. Alcohol interferes with your weight loss, period. Regardless of whether you're on a GLP-1 or not, alcohol interferes with weight loss in general. It's a lot of empty calories. It's very inflammatory. It promotes fat storage hormones. It decreases fat mobilizing hormones. Every way that alcohol can hurt you, it's what it does. How do you fix hair loss? You slow down your weight loss. You slow down the stress in your body. So whenever you lose weight rapidly, hair loss is a possibility. Hair loss is a inevitable circumstance, side effect for some people. Usually it's more likely going to happen if you lose weight rapidly. You start developing these micronutrient deficiencies. You're not getting enough calories. You're not getting enough protein. You're not getting enough nourishment. Losing weight rapidly is stressful to the body. So you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. Thank you, Christy. Thank you so much for letting your friends know about what I do and about what we do. We are here to help. Red Cakes says, I noticed one week that I didn't have alcohol and I lost weight. And the following week I drank alcohol and I didn't lose weight. Yeah, I think that's an indicator. I think that is an indicator for sure. I would probably roll with that one. It's just at the very minimum, it's a lot of calories. And normally when you're on alcohol, when you're drinking alcohol, you're not making the best decisions, food-wise, health-wise. Your sleep is disrupted. Oh, I forgot to mention, you don't sleep as good when you drink. And then when you don't sleep as good, that also impacts everything too as well. Sadie, I'm glad that you're looking forward to the fasting video. It's going to be a good one. In the meantime, though, make sure you're following us, because if you're not already, Sadie, because there's a lot of good videos that we're posting before that. We just posted NAD versus peptides. I think Thursday we're going to post a protein food GLP-1 video. What are the best proteins? How to make sure you get enough protein on your GLP-1s. I'm posting that video on Thursday. Would you recommend I go back to TERS long-term maintenance rather than Retta? I don't have any information about you, Nat, so it's hard for me to actually answer that question. But in general, if retatrutide's not working, there's usually an underlying issue. So we got to figure out what that underlying issue is. Let's see. Hello, Anya. Welcome. Why am I so tired on tirzepatide? Lana, are you tired, brain foggy, constipated, and cold? Or are you tired, unmotivated, a little depressed? Those are two different situations. Hello, CV. We are talking about GLP-1 meds, slow results, long-term results, how to optimize them. Can I use tesamorelin in the morning? Sure, you can. Morning and the evening are the time. I mean, I can't give you medical advice, but generally the best time to use your growth hormone peptides is before bed. But sometimes, I would say any time to take it is better than no time, but generally evening is going to be a better time. Hey, Anya, thank you so much. Anya says that she is in our program. She is kicking ass. Love it, love it. Thank you for sharing that. By the way, guys, if you just joined us here, welcome, welcome. So my name is Dr. Jones, and I have clinics that service across the nation, all 50 states. I work side by side. My medical practitioners, they prescribe, I coach. We're kicking ass, guys. We're kicking ass. We're helping people achieve what they thought they were going to originally achieve. That's the interesting thing. We're helping people achieve what they thought they were going to achieve when they started the medications. How many of you guys thought that when you started the medication that you were going to hit your weight loss goal and that you were going to maintain your weight loss? And then how many of you guys found out the hard way that you're on the meds now and it's not exactly working the way that you hoped? It's not exactly working the way that you expected to. Let me know in the comments if that sounds too much like what you're dealing with. You found out the hard way. I know, it's awful. So, I have time right now. Do you want me to should we talk about slow results? Slow results, like why are you not responding to your medications? There's 4 main reasons. 4. Now there's technically 5, but the 5th one is you were losing weight and then you stalled. That's a different explanation. But if you never really started losing weight to begin with, or you're losing very slowly, no matter what you do, you're increasing your dose and you're still not losing weight, that's a different thing. That means there's a block. That means something is blocking the medication from working. And by the way, it's your body. There's something about your body. There's something about your health that's preventing the medication from working. And you can continue to increase and hope that you override it. But before you know it, if you keep increasing, you're going to be on the maximum dose. And let's say you start to lose a little bit of weight. Finally, when you get to 10, 12, 15, what's going to happen when you plateau on that dose? Have you thought about that? Have you been wondering, what the hell am I going to do when I plateau on those higher doses? I know some of you guys are thinking about that. I know some of you guys are panicking a little bit. So what I'm about to tell you now is hopefully going to help, because then you can start to think about, well, how do I fix this, right? What are the 4 main reasons? And so real quick, if you haven't already taken this number, 229-441-3562 is the best number to reach out to my team. If you guys want us to work with you, if you want my help or my coach's help, we do service all 50 states. We have some pretty cool promotions right now that we're running. 229-441-3562. If you're watching me on TikTok and you do like to learn bite-sized pieces of helpful information, then make sure you follow these. These are the 2 TikTok pages right here, the 2 new ones. And of course, make sure you follow me on YouTube. Type in Dr. Jones DC on YouTube and you will find us there. Okay, so let's talk slow results, no results. The 4 main reasons. Pay attention to what I'm about to say right now. This is super important. The 4 main categories. Insulin, which is insulin resistance. Insulin resistance drives chronically elevated insulin levels. Inflammation. Thyroid and cortisol. These are the 4 main culprits behind your slow results, behind your lack of results. I'm going to repeat those, okay? Insulin resistance, inflammation, thyroid, and cortisol. So what do you guys want? What do you want to me to talk about first? What would be more helpful of those categories? Some of you guys are asking about the peptides, where can you get them? All you got to do is shoot us a text message here, 229-441-3562. We do service all 50 states. So all you got to do is get set up for a free consultation. Inflammation is a big one. Inflammation is a big one. It seems like that's what you guys are asking for the most. So what are we really talking about when we're talking about inflammation? Chronic inflammation. So there's so many sources. Let's start with autoimmune inflammation, Hashimoto's, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, MS, like all of these conditions. How many of you guys have an autoimmune disease? Fibromyalgia. You probably have more than one autoimmune disease. At the core of an autoimmune disease is high levels of inflammation. If you have an autoimmune disease, you have extra inflammation. But guess what? It's not only an autoimmune disease. There are non-autoimmune cases of inflammation, like PCOS. Menopause. Menopause isn't really a condition. It's a time in your life as a female where your hormone production dramatically decreases. But as a result of estrogen levels decreasing, it's kind of crazy what happens to women, but their inflammation increases. Their insulin resistance increases. So perimenopause, menopause, PCOS, post-COVID, a lot of people don't talk about post-COVID, but that's a real thing. I've seen a lot of cases of post-COVID. And then you have Lyme's disease. I don't see too many of the cases of Lyme's disease, but I see them every now and then. So the more inflamed you are, the more insulin resistant you are. So inflammation itself also blocks fat loss. Inflammation itself also drives insulin resistance. Hey, Lisa, the best number to reach out to us is 229-441-3562. 229-441-3562 is the best way to reach out to my team if you want to learn more about how we can help you. So inflammation on its own will cause your body to prefer fat storage over fat burning. See, when you ingest calories, your body has to make decisions. Your body has to make decisions about what to do with the calories. It's not as simple as calorie deficit, calorie surplus. It is in terms of weight gain or weight loss, but weight gain and weight loss is actually not the most important thing. What's more important than weight loss or weight gain is the ratio of muscle and fat on your body. What's even more important is visceral fat, the fat around your belly. If you have a big belly, if you have a lot of fat around your belly, your health is lower. That's just the bottom line. You could be in a healthy weight, but you have excess visceral fat, which is fat around your organs, and your metabolic health could be in the tank. You could be very poor health and your weight is fine. Although I don't see that as often. I don't. Generally, you're more overweight, more visceral fat, but that visceral fat produces a lot of inflammation. So inflammation will drive insulin resistance. So the more insulin resistant you are, that means the more elevated your insulin levels are. And the more elevated your insulin levels are, you just can't lose fat. No matter what you do, you put yourself in a calorie deficit, You lose fat short term, but then your body does everything it possibly can to stop fat loss. See, it's a really stressful situation to put your body into a calorie deficit when insulin levels are high. When insulin levels are high, you put your body into a calorie deficit, you have opposing signals. The calorie deficit is forcing your body to do something to get the energy from somewhere, but then you have insulin saying, store, store, store. I'm locking down the fat cells. And so now your body has to override insulin by releasing other powerful fat mobilizing hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine. And these players get in there and they wreak havoc. So the main things that I always talk about to fix insulin: fasting and a keto diet. Fasting and a keto diet are extremely powerful ways to improve insulin resistance. But it won't work if you're very inflamed. So you got to bring your inflammation down. Thoughts on Tessa, IPA, AOD, MOTC blend on top of TERS? I highly doubt that the ratio of those peptides are good. Also, there's no point of taking AOD and tesamorelin together. This sounds like one of those research company blends where they literally just put anything together. You don't even take MOTC every day. The dosing schedule and the amounts of those 4 peptides are so different. We would never blend them together. But that's the difference between getting your peptides from research companies versus getting them from like high quality 503A doctor prescribed peptides. It's always crazy to see those blends because it doesn't make any sense clinically speaking. But taking a random blend of those peptides, it's not going to hurt you. Okay, so we're getting a couple questions here. Fasting, is it okay for perimenopause, menopausal women? Potentially, yes. The goal should be to get into fasting if you're in menopause, if you're in perimenopause. If you have any of these conditions we just talked about, fasting will eventually help you, but there's nuance because fasting might make you worse. Unfortunately, this is why some medical experts have recommended no fasting, because of the very true observation that people sometimes get worse when they start fasting. So this is where peptides come into play. You're right, Julia. The reason why you feel like it raises your cortisol is because it is. When your insulin levels are high and you go into a calorie deficit or you start fasting, it's going to raise your cortisol to override the insulin. But too much cortisol creates a problem as well, creates its own problems. And so you have to make fasting less stressful in order for fasting to be effective. And if you're in perimenopause, menopause, if your inflammation is high, your body's very sensitive. And so this is why I like fat mobilizing peptides. Hello, flying high. Fat mobilizing peptides like Sloop 332, AOD 9604. These are very powerful fat mobilizing peptides that allow your body to get into deep states of fat burning, which are very vital. Like we talked about earlier, you need the fasting, but you can't fast if your body's all stressed out. So you basically, there's a whole protocol that we do when you're working with me, but you're very careful about implementing fasting and you add fat mobilizing peptides like AOD or Sloop 332. Our Sloop 332 is a pill. Peptides are bad. Hunt 11 says peptides are bad. Tell me why, Hunt 1111. Tell me why peptides are bad. Please educate me. When I don't walk, I'm good with hunger suppression, but when I walk, I'm always hungry. Interesting. Usually walking doesn't increase hunger, but it could. So I would probably offset that with the GLP-1. When I don't, body stores food. If you fast too much, it goes into survival mode. See, that is not entirely true. Your body goes into starvation mode regardless of whether you're fasting or not. Your body goes into starvation mode if you are in too large of a calorie deficit for too long of a period of time. So pay attention to what I'm saying there, because this is so crucially important. Your body goes into starvation mode if you are fasting for too long of a period of time, too large. Okay, so let me repeat that. Your body goes into starvation mode with too aggressive of a calorie deficit over too long of a period. So when you fast, which is the most aggressive calorie deficit, you have to balance the fasting with feasting. You have to counter the fasting with high periods of calories and high periods of protein, which is why the title of my book is called Fast, Feast, and Flourish. Because fasting and back to calorie deficits, you're going to plateau. You're going to go into survival mode. What is better, tirzepatide or semaglutide? Tirzepatide without a doubt. Tirzepatide without a doubt is much better, Flynn. Rob, no you don't what? I might have missed what you're talking about, Rob. Noel, what if people fast for 2 days and then eat low calories? Then they're going to plateau. Then they're going to plateau fast. If you fast for 2 whole days, you need to eat a week's worth of food. You don't need to eat, let me rephrase that. You need to eat 5 days worth of food over 5 days. Like 5 times 2,000 calories over 5 days, right? Just enough of feasting over those 5 days so that your body doesn't plateau, and then you can repeat the cycle. You're welcome. Homocysteine is 24.8. Yeah, that's high. That is no bueno. What is your plan to fix that homocysteine? And you probably have other markers of inflammation too as well, would be my guess. Lang Shang, I'm on TERS for almost 5 months, and then I switched to Retta for 2 weeks. And now I don't feel the effects. Yeah, I mean, why did you switch to retatrutide? I talk about this over and over and over. Retatrutide does not solve the underlying problems, my friends. If retatrutide works for you, fantastic. But if tirzepatide stopped working, there's a different problem. It's not the fact that you need retatrutide. Nicole on Facebook, I appreciate all of your help through my journey. I'm on tirzepatide. Can you please touch on adding AOD 9604? Yes. So we were talking about how you need to mobilize your fat if you have PCOS, if you have menopause, if you have these inflammatory conditions. How can you fast without stressing your body out? The answer is AOD 9604. The answer is Sloop 332. Sloop 332, AOD 9604. These are the game-changing fat-mobilizing peptides that allow your body to fast, and it decreases the stress on your body because the AOD mobilizes the fat for you. So if you ever felt like you didn't feel good on fasting, this could be one of the reasons. This could be one of the main reasons. This is why most of our patients, especially our menopausal, perimenopausal patients or inflammatory patients, We want to get them on the fasting protocols, but we add the Sloop 332. We add the AOD 9604. We get them eating less carbohydrates, eating high-fat diets. You heard me right, high-fat diet. Give me that fat, baby. You got to eat the fat. When you cut the carbohydrates, you have to increase your fat intake, which is why I'm a big fan of like an animal-based, a lot of fatty red meat. Julie, how can we order AOD? Right here through this number, the 229-441. We got you covered. We do service all 50 states. Yeah, Lang, let me know if you need help, if you need any coaching. We're here for you. We don't do Zepbound. We do compounded tirzepatide. And they can go over all the pricing with you when you text this number. I thought fasting was a no-no on GLP-1 medications. Yeah, I think a lot of people are under that assumption. You're definitely going to want to watch my fasting video next week. But in the meantime, if you want the skinny on it, fasting is phenomenal. Fasting is a phenomenal thing to do on your GLP-1s. Low dose GLP-1s plus fasting equals high synergy. There is a lot of synergy between fasting and GLP-1 meds. Carly, can you see my question? I do not see your question. If you want to ask me again, they might be filtering your question. Is higher doses better for insulin resistance? Potentially, right? You need to do whatever dose you need to do, John, but the goal is to use the lowest dose. Whatever that dose might be, yours might be higher. The more insulin resistant, the more inflamed you are. If I get pregnant and get off the shot, will I gain back faster since Well, yeah. I mean, when you stop the medication, you start gaining weight faster. That's already proven in the literature. Hey, Julie on Facebook, you need to get your thyroid treated. Thyroid is integral. If you need a prescription of thyroid medication to get your thyroid levels optimized, then that is an essential piece of the equation. We very often are checking labs on our patients and doing a comprehensive thyroid panel and seeing that they need thyroid support. Yes, we work with patients to help them lower their dose all the time. Jersey Girl, I don't know if I'm missing part of your statement, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. Is whey protein concentrate from organic milk a good base for a protein drink? Whey protein is the most potent muscle building protein. So I'm a big fan of whey protein, if you can tolerate it. I did not see your question about Parkinson's. How long would it take me to drop weight after having the last chemotherapy session? I mean, there's no answer to that question. It's going to take whatever it takes. There's literally no way I can answer that question. I'm sorry. Without just making up a number. You know what I mean? I have no idea the extent of where your health is at and how much it was impacted from the chemo. Do I like AOD better than Semorolin? Early on, I do. And then later, switching to the growth hormone peptides is usually how we do it. Do I suggest being on the medications for life? I suggest using the lowest doses possible. If you can work towards weaning off entirely, that's fantastic. But I think a lot of people will find out that they can't wean off the medication entirely. I think a lot of people are going to find out that they need some sort of microdosing maintenance to help them maintain their weight loss for the rest of their life. Microdosing, though, that's my goal. That's my goal for you guys, is to microdose and maintain your weight loss. I did not see your question about using expired tirzepatide, but be careful with that. Talk to your doctors. Hey, Dina, thank you so much. I do love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. All right, guys, I got to run, but I actually have time this evening. Surprisingly, I had a couple calls that got rescheduled. So I will be back this evening. I'll see you guys at, I think 3:34. Let me see what time I'm going to come back. We'll see, 5:30 Eastern. I'll be back 5:30 Eastern. So last thing I'll say before I hop off, make sure you follow me on YouTube, Dr. Jones DC. Go to my YouTube page and type in Dr. Jones DC. If you're following me on TikTok right now, these are the 2 new TikTok pages. We try to put out educational bite-sized pieces of content on TikTok. So if you enjoy the short videos, follow me on TikTok. Also, Dr. Jones on Instagram if you'd like to have Instagram-specific content. And then this 229 number is actually the best number to reach out to my team. If you guys want some help, if you want to get scheduled for a free consultation, give us a buzz. And we'll see everybody later. Bye, everybody. Hunt, be safe, guys. This guy running because he finally got called out. What are you talking about, Hunt? Let me scroll back, because I that kind of stuff I take pretty seriously. I'm going to respond to Hunt's statement just because I want to. Let me see here. Let me scroll back here. All right, Hunt. If you're fasting and you're not Muslim, oh, okay, well, never mind then. I'm not going to respond to that. You lost me on that, bro. I don't know what being Muslim or not being Muslim has to do with. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right, guys. Never mind. I thought there was going to be something interesting to respond to there.